We're going to start out right first off with the gift shop. Everything in here, well, I won't swear to everything in here being local artists, but the word is everything here is local artists. It's very nice things. Some pretty, I guess they're Christmas ornaments. They're very pretty. In our house, that'd last about an hour and a half. Okay. I'm sure I can come back at the end here and find something I'm interested in buying.
Awesome. All right.
A lot of ceramics.
You want to pick one of these? It's a layout museum. You have 3 floors, including this floor. You can get there either with the stairs or there's an elevator.
And books on the history. And other miscellaneous stuff. All right, let's grab a map and go take a look around. Jewelry. Okay, the museum is 3 stories tall. You walk inside is the lobby. We just went through the gift shop and had restrooms down here. We are on the 2nd floor with artifacts, boat building, wooden boat display. And then the last floor is Coastal Environmental Gallery, Hurricane Gallery. So we'll go check them all out. Some miniature of the what was it, Delta Queen paddle wheel boat. I'm guessing this is a shrimp boat. That's what it looks like. And that's exactly like the safe in my hotel room. Huh. You've had a pretty good life as a boat if you end up in a museum. It means you survived a lot of good times and bad times. Half shell. Circa 1920. New Haven Sharpie. Everything's original. $1960s style, sold for $795 new. In the 60s, my father had a runabout in Southern California a lot like this. It was a ski boat, except this one was smart enough to put a cut through between the back and the front. The one my father had didn't. And as you can imagine, if you didn't have it in neutral and started that engine from the back, you had a real adventure going. And I can tell you that happened on more than one occasion. Historic boats of Biloxi. Frigates, longboats, ketches, oyster sloops, steamboats, boy, just about everything you could think of. Gillnet skiff. Well, I have to say, they have got an awful lot of stuff on display in here. if you're interested in boats, you could easily spend an hour or two inside here. Southern Piru, which we saw at, I think it was the Acadian village that had them, or Vermilion, one of them. Maybe been both. I have been in these. They're a lot more stable than you'd think. A lot having to do with the flat bottom. And this one has the long paddle for steering and poling it through the swamps. Boy, somebody put a lot of hours into making these replicas.
Side to side and manning the bailing bucket. They raced and won for the next several years. During this time, Wood graduated with honors as an engineer from Tulane University and immediately took employment with the Sewerage and Water Board of New Orleans. Still interested in sailboat racing.
Let's go up and look at the third floor. These are more representative of the Random Destinations corporate fleet, which we use back at our studio headquarters. We spare no expense. Lots and lots and lots of information. Marshes and coastal erosion and wetlands and the recreational fishing, charter boat fishing, you name it. They've got information on it. I'm guessing these are all diesel engines. Let's see. No, they're not. Two cycle. One longer engine. Two crank. Yeah, all of them two crank. Huh. Now, some of these brands I recognize from my youth. Redfish. Oyster harvesting. Remember, if you're coming to this part of the country for oysters, come in the month that's have an R in them. That's when they harvest the oysters. During the summer, there's some type of bacteria or something that gets in them, and they don't recommend eating them, particularly raw. I suppose you can eat them cooked, but generally it's the months with R's in them is oyster time. Steamer can for steaming shrimp or probably crab or anything else you want. A wheelhouse.
It was his design of the bow that was used in the development of the now famous PT boats, making the boats faster. The now common step-haul design was Joe's conception, which allows crafts to float.
Even a small desk or bed, I guess.
After the war, Joe opened his own boat building business, Moran's Boat Works, investing everything he had in that business. By 1947, Moran's Boat Works was producing 35 boats per week, and it just boats.
It's the history of the hurricanes. From Katrina to Camille to the hurricane of 1947. And all of those in between.
South Mississippi before and after. When people did recover from the shock of what had happened, they had amazing stories of survival to tell.
If you've never been through a hurricane, which most people haven't, I would recommend watching that. I've been through a number of them, and that's why we live in the Ozarks. Well, I will say the museum is much nicer than I thought. They have a lot of exhibits, a lot of information. Well, I have to say the Maritime and Seafood Industry Museum was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. They have just a ton of stuff, particularly if you're into boats. They have lots of historical artifacts in there that are worth seeing, and they have a whole section devoted to hurricanes on the Gulf Coast. So if you're not familiar or have ever been through a hurricane, it's a constantly running video. You just walk in there and sit down, and it's very good. You could easily spend 2 hours in this place if you're into history. So remember that when you come to Biloxi and you've lost all your money at the casinos in the first 22 minutes you've been here, go, hey, let's go to the Seafood Industry Museum. Well worth the time.